house guests, welcome to today's BB Can 6 updates and spoilers. Our house guest today is George Lane IV, aka Gio-Epe. Woo! Thank you so much for the support. George has been watching for a really long time. He's probably like an OG, a Madrosed OG. So we really appreciate that more than anything. And again, thanks so much. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Alright, so when we left off yesterday, the house guests were waiting around for the power veto competition. Maddie and Paris are up on the block, just to refresh your memory, and they're realizing, like, there's a good chance that Will might not use the veto if he were to win, which, like, is not even gonna really happen. Probably not. But he made a deal with Derek and Kayla that if he were to win the veto, he wouldn't use it. He swore on his son. So they're trying to now think of different ways that they could possibly get Derek up on the block so that the trio could stay intact for another week. So these girls are thinking that they can get Kayla to put Derek up if either of them or Kayla wins the power veto. So they're saying they're fine. They think they have a good shot at this as long as Will or Derek do not win. I say no way. Seriously, Kayla can't compete in the next HOH competition. She's going to want Derek around. And yes, her safety next week is going to depend on that power veto. Even if Derek were to win the HOH, she's got to save herself. But then again, it would still be better for her to have Derek competing for power veto as well, because if he does win HOH, which let's face it, there's a good chance he will, if he could win the veto as well, he could make sure that she's not on the block and she's the one deciding who goes home next week. So it really is best for her, I think, to keep Derek around, right? So anyway, then it was time for the power veto competition. The feeds went down for a few hours, and when they come back, we see that no, Maddie did not shave her head, okay? She has all of her hair still. Nobody had to shave their head. It wasn't that kind of competition. It sounded like it was some sort of like endurance-based competition. Sounds pretty interesting. I'm excited to see what it actually looks like. They had to like grab onto all these different pegs or something. It almost sounded like, to me, Twister, but like on a wall. I don't know. It was interesting. But the winner, the big winner here, was Kayla, aka Slayla, winning that POV again. Remember when the trio thought it would be a good idea to go to the Final Five with the showmans? Anyway, so the competition's over now. Slayla won, and Maddie and Paris are plotting because this goes along with their plan. They're like, as long as it's not Will or Derek, we can do this. So Paris says, this is great. We've got a lot of material to work with. They have to make Kayla feel like Derek is trying to control her HOH. Apparently, during the competition, Derek actually got Will to throw it by telling Will, like, hey, remember, we're going to the Final Four. And Will was like, okay, bye. So, yeah, that's pretty sketchy. I'd be really pissed if I were Maddie and Paris, right? So, Maddie leaves the room. Paris continues talking to the cameras. She's freaking dancing and singing about how she might get Derek out this week. She says she's about to pull such a big move. Are you, though? Like, I just don't see this happening, but she seems pretty sure about it. So she's like, I'm going to feed into Kayla's ego, tell her that Derek has her wrapped around his finger, talk about how Kayla likes Derek more than he likes her. Wow, that's cutting a little deep, isn't it? And then Paris was talking to the cameras in the white bedroom, and she's pretty grossed out that Will dropped out of the competition when Derek dangled the Final Four in front of him. Because, yes, Paris is included in that Final Four deal, which Maddie doesn't really know about, but let's be real, like, they could always change their minds and get rid of Paris instead of Maddie. So Paris is pretty nervous. She's still up on the block. So she's like, if we weren't such good friends, a guy like that, meaning Will, would not have my vote in the end. Boom! Okay, and she says it would have been the biggest move of the season for Will to win the veto, use it on her, and send Derek home. Oh well, that's what happens when you align with a bunch of sheep. Okay, so anyway, that was like a crying sheep. So then Paris is planning out that her and Maddie are going to have this big fake fight and act like they're not together anymore. why don't you just have one of your million real fights? And then they're gonna both go to Kayla separately and be like, I want to go to the end with you because I'm not close with Paris anymore, or I'm not close with Maddie. No freaking way. Why would she believe that? No. So then Will comes in and he's trying to act to Paris like Derek threatened him during the competition. And like Derek was saying, you won't be in Final Four unless you drop. What? Oh my god. So Paris is just like, no, that's not what happened. Like, she was there, okay? She knows what happened. She knows that Derek got him to throw it. So then Will is like, why are you so upset? We're going to the Final Four. Is he really like that oblivious? Or is he just selfish? Or what's the deal? I don't know. But anyway, I think Paris is pretty pissed about it. So then Kayla and Derek were chatting. Derek was like a little bit pissy because he wanted to win that competition. He wants as many wins as possible on his resume. So I'm pretty sure Derek and Kayla are even in competition wins now. I think they both have 4. So Kayla's like, your butt's safe because of me. And then Derek's like, and me, because I got Will to drop out of the competition. I don't know that Will necessarily would have won this one, but I think it is a pretty big deal that they got him to drop out. That's crazy. So Kayla's like, you're not going to kick me out next week, are you? And Derek's response is, are you effed? I mean, he said the real word, but like, he says there's no way. He's taking her to the end. He's not going to get rid of her. He wouldn't do that to her on a game level or a personal level. It's just not happening. So they both want to go to the final 3 with Will because he sucks the most out of the trio. Agreed. And they feel like they would have the best chance of beating him in those final competitions. And after what they saw today with Derek getting him to drop out, they might even be able to make a deal with him during the final veto competition. So their eviction order is Maddie this week, Paris the following week, and then Will. So Derek promises that he would bring Kayla to the final 2, and I totally believe that. I think he would. But would Kayla pick him? That's the big question here. Derek is like, Will doesn't deserve the money. He hasn't done anything. And preach. And then later, Derek is saying he's thinking maybe it would be better to take Paris to the final 3 instead of Will, because maybe Will is a better competitor than Paris. He feels more confident going up against Paris. I don't know about that. I see Paris being a lot better in the endurance challenges than Will would be, even if you just look at their like stature going into it, because Will is so tall and Paris is like a tiny lady, right? So I feel like she's gonna have a better shot at those endurance ones, and I think she would also have a better chance in like the questions ones and stuff like that than Will would. But Kayla's like, let's not worry about it right now. We're not at that point. We can make a last minute decision when the time comes. So then Maddie and Paris were discussing their plan again, and Paris is like, all right, we're gonna start off by planting the seeds. Like, man, Derek's good. Is that it? No. It just sounded really funny the way she said it. But they really want to push that Derek has the ability to win this whole thing in the end. They're also going to bring up how Derek is now making calls during Kayla's HOH. They saw it in the power veto competition when he got Will dropped by saying, you're going to the final 4, when that's not really up to him. And they also want to tell Kayla, Derek is not going to take you to the final 2, which I think is BS. And he might not even want you in the final 3. Again, I think that's BS. But they're going to tell her, you need to cut him before he cuts you. So Maddie says they can also bring up how no woman has ever taken out her showmans, and that would be huge for Kayla's resume. I think that's probably their best chance of getting her, but I just don't see her falling for this. So Paris is kind of worried at the same time that Kayla is going to take all this information and tell Derek about it and be like, they were trying to get you out, so just keep that in mind. Maddie's like, no. It's fine. If this plan backfires, I know I'm going to go home, so you don't have to worry about it. And then Maddie's like, well, if we can't get Kayla to put up Derek, maybe we can get her to put up Will, and then we'll both be safe. And Paris is like, no. We should work on the Derek angle first. You know Paris does not want to lose Will. Okay. So then, Maddie's like, I'm going to do what it takes to make this happen. She's thinking about even telling Kayla that she'll take her to the final 2, but in reality, she wants to take Paris. it's too late for that. You had your chance. You had Kayla thinking you wanted to go to the end with her and that you were done with the trio, but you blew it. It's too late now. If you say it now that Kayla's got the power of veto, she's not gonna fall for that. So then we finally got what we've been waiting for, a Kayla monologue. So she was sitting down at the dining room table and she says if it comes down to her, Derek, and somebody else in the final 3, and it's up to her to make the decision, she's gonna have to cut Derek because she doesn't know if she would be able to beat him, and she's telling herself, like, yeah, it may feel like you've known this guy forever, but you only met him like 57 days ago, and you want this. You came here to win, so do what you gotta do. She's ready to make that move. I think it's probably a good idea because I don't know how the votes would fall in the final 2 if it's Derek and Kayla. I feel like she would probably have the edge with like Johnny, Allie, and Olivia all voting for her. But you never know. You never know. It's a jury of 7, so she would need 1 more if she got those 3. I don't know. But anyway, I guess it would also depend how these last 2 weeks or so play out. So she feels like it's really hard because Derek keeps saying that he would bring her to the end, and he's all like, this isn't just a game decision, this is like a life decision, and she's thinking like, this has always been just a game for me. So she's gonna keep acting like she'll take Derek to the end because she still wants him to want to take her if it's up to him. I got respect for that. Alright, so anyway, Kayla, but oh, can you imagine like Will getting 2nd place? Oh, or like a bitter jury and Will getting 1st place? Oh, okay, so then Kayla was chatting with Maddie in the HOH room, and this is like Maddie's chance to start planting those seeds. So Kayla shares that, yeah, she's going to do what she has to do at final 3. She's implying here that she will cut Derek if the time comes. And Maddie reminds her, you have all the power right now. You're the HOH and you have the power of veto. I can't tell you what your best move is, but don't hesitate if you feel like there's more that you want to do this week. Like, if you want to keep me and get rid of your showmance. So, she doesn't say that, but she's like vaguely telling Kayla, you could take out Derek this week if you wanted to. And it might, or might not, set you up better for next week. I don't see how that would set her up better, but Kayla's like, you know what? I just want to focus on making it to the next stage of the game. I gotta win that veto next week, and then we'll see what happens. That's basically like a, you're crazy, I'm not getting rid of my showmance. So Maddie reports back to Paris. She feels really good about how it went. She thinks that Kayla's considering taking Derek out, but she needs more of a push from them. No. And then Paris starts saying she's really nervous that Maddie is going to use this against her. You know, even if nominations stay the same and it's Paris versus Maddie, she doesn't want Maddie to turn around and be like, this was Paris's plan, you better take her out. So Paris says, if you F me over again for a 2nd time, I will make it my mission to make sure you don't get any jury votes. Damn! Oh, I can't believe the way she talks to Maddie sometimes. It's insane. So Maddie's like, it's okay, I know I'm gonna go home if the noms stay the same, so like, don't worry. Alright, so today, I think we can expect some more scheming from Paris and Maddie, trying to get Derek up on the block, but I don't think it's going to work. I don't think Kayla's going to do it. But we'll know tomorrow, because tomorrow should be the Power Veto ceremony. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until then, much love.